This was the definitive end to Israel Adesanya. I was really expecting to be hating and clowning on Izzy by this point, especially due to the way he was talking leading up to this fight and the big old temper tantrum he had.
Man, I thought Izzy was gonna get the title back one more time, bro. I thought he was gonna have at least one more good title run, bro. I swear I thought he was, but that's just how it goes, bro. In anything, like you get your time in the sun, enjoy it, and one day your time is over. That's that's how it is for YouTubers. That's how it is for fighters. That's how it is for singers, rappers, whatever, bro. You get your time in the sun for however long it is, then it's someone else's time. I really thought Izzy was gonna get the title back. Really did. Izzy, Francis Ngannou, Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor. I really like Conor McGregor's I like what Conor McGregor stands for more than like his fighting, bro. That's why he's up there on my list. And the fifth person I'd probably say who would I put that number? I'd say Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley, he's pretty cool. He a pretty cool, chill dude. Even though he let Jake Paul knock him out. But yeah, I really thought he was gonna get one more good title run. And Dricus, that man. Dricus did have a good point, bro. Izzy does cry a lot. He does. But
At the press conference, but even
video.
as the self-proclaimed biggest Izzy hater, I felt a little sad after. And sure, this wasn't a surprise to me. Again, I ran my model and actually got DDP.
And a lot of these Izzy haters, bro, I feel like a lot of y'all be Alex Pereira meat riders. Bro, Izzy could retire right now, bro. His legacy is already stamped. I said this before. Izzy's legacy is already stamped, bro. He left the division twice. He beat a lot of the same fighters twice. He had the championship for a hot little minute. Wasn't he the last, like, out of Francis Ngannou and Kamaru Usman? Wasn't he the last African to like have the title when all three of them had it?
By submission and did pretty well on the main card. And sure, there's a little sniper's fallacy, so next card I will show the results before the event, just remind me. But anyways, even with me kind of knowing DDP would...
I'm sorry for stopping the video, y'all, but that's something I always said, that if Izzy and John Jones was to fight, that's, cause me and my boy Jay, we always had that debate. That's one thing I always said, bro. If Izzy and John Jones fought, bro, Izzy would have to work on his wrestling. His wrestling is it's at an all-time low, bro. All-time low. His wrestling is not that good. Izzy is more of a kickboxer, kind of striker type guy. He really can't stand and bang with nobody. He's more of just kind of keeps his distance, uses his range. One of them type of guys.
Win, having that confidence and low-key wanting Drake to
I'm
shut up
really
Izzy.
shocked that Izzy tapped.
It's kind of sad how Izzy's career has ended. And yeah, let's establish this right now. Yes, Izzy's career is over. Honestly, he looked good in the majority of this fight, and I know he said in the post-fight interview that this isn't the last time you'll see him, but this is it. There's no fucking way he should be getting another title shot anytime soon, as he's lost 3 of his last 4. But in this video, let's look back at the career of Israel Adesanya, look back at peak Izzy era, where we saw his decline in both performance and likability, how the end of his career will reflect on his career as a whole, and most importantly, look back at the legacy he'll leave behind on the sport. If you haven't already, you should watch this video on the decline of likability of Israel Adesanya, as a lot of his character was shown there and has continued to reveal itself. It's hard to remember the peak of Israel Adesanya just because we've been living out his downfall, but Izzy was arguably the face of the UFC from 2020 to 2022. He looked unstoppable at middleweight with 5 title defenses in a row and was starting to lap the division's contenders. He beat Yoel Romero, knocked out Paulo Costa, beat Vittori.
Bro, look at these big names he beat, bro. He beat some of the top guys in the name of the game, and people are like, oh, Izzy sucks, Izzy, we hate him. Bro, he is stamped. Alex Pereira. Who is Alex Pereira beat? Who? Jerry? He beat Jerry? And I think he beat Sean Strickland. So? Sean Strickland is some redneck that did. He was just holding the title, bro. He was just holding the title for a little bit. I don't even watch UFC no more, but I still kind of keep up a little bit here and there. But bro, come on now. Y'all gonna
For a
stop
second
playing
time,
Izzy
he
like
robbed
that,
a second
dog.
time, and then capped off
Y'all say I'm
his title reign
glazing,
with
whatever.
Joe
I don't
Cannonier.
care, bro.
It was light work for Izzy, but definitely wasn't boding too well with the audience. Despite Izzy being extremely popular and having everyone tune in to watch him fight, the guy was boring during his reign. Out of his 5 title defenses, he only had one truly exciting fight and
TJ, bro, that's where I gotta disagree, dog. Fight. A lot of people don't understand the concept of fighting smart. Yes, fighting is supposed to be entertaining for the crowd. But I mean, if you want to, the fighter got to think of themselves before putting the crowd first, bro. Like how Floyd did. Floyd was boring. Money May was boring to me. Pretty Boy Floyd was entertaining to me because he fought like a dog. But as a fighter, bro, you gotta kind of think of like yourself and how you want to end your career. Like, do you want to end it having brain damage, or do you want to end it still having, somewhat some of your brains, dog? Like, that's something that a lot of fight fans really don't see. They don't really care about the fighter like that until after they get brain damage, dog. And that's really messed up. Like how people say Shakur Stevenson is boring, which if you understand boxing, Shakur Stevenson isn't boring. If you like just solely the art of boxing, Shakur is that, dog.
finish in Paulo Costa. Every one of his other title defenses were boring, lulling you to sleep with his low output and leg kicks from distance, which would lead to an unsurprising decision victory. It also didn't help that he also often had to follow up.
I ain't gonna lie. This one right here was Izzy's like most boring, title match. I ain't gonna lie. It was. But I feel like the best, like, on paper fight he had that was still kind of somewhat good was him and Anderson Silva. That was a good fight, bro. It was kind of like, to me, it was kind of like new versus old, Anderson Silva, he's done with UFC.
A big performance, like his fight with Romero having to follow up Wei Li versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, probably the greatest women fight to date. His fight with Vettori had to follow up Moreno, choking out Figgy for the belt. His fight with Rob the second time had to follow up Ty KOing Derek Lewis. And then finally his fight with Cannonier followed the legendary beatdown of Max by Volkanovski in their third fight. I mean, imagine seeing all those legendary performances or surprises, and then you have to see this to cap off the night. His likability was waning, which made the eventual loss to Alex Pereira even more devastating to his career. Everyone wants to see a boring champion get toppled by an exciting contender, especially if the boring...
I said it before. That fight with the first fight that they was fighting, bro, the ref could have still, bro, Izzy was still moving his head and stuff. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Y'all are dick riders. That fight could have kept going, bro. It wasn't number like, what, 2 minutes, 1 minute left on. I mean, if Izzy was going to, like, actually get knocked out, bro, the ref should just let him get knocked out.
Champion is talking shit, or in this case, kind of talking shit. And well, in a very rare instance, we got exactly that from the literal villain in Izzy's story. It was devastating, embarrassing, considering Izzy lost to the guy 3 times by this point. It almost looked like this could have been the end to Israel Adesanya's story. But in a small window during the decline of Izzy's career, he did bring back his likability with arguably the best highlight of his career, finally getting over the hump of Alex Pereira and doing it in an amazing fashion.
I mean, then at the time, and still, I congratulate Izzy on that victory, but the knockout just, it wasn't really like, to me, it just wasn't that good of a knockout, bro.
To shut down, he was boring. And he also had a solid, actually inspiring post-fight interview. But his likability and career would decline even harder than his loss to Alex Pereira in the UFC, starting with the drunken tirade with Drakus in the octagon and letting a lot of N-words fly, and then dug himself an even deeper hole when Drakus was replaced with Sean. If fans didn't like Izzy here, they definitely didn't like Izzy here. He was exposed for a dog thing, let's just say, which was unlimited ammo for Sean and the Izzy haters. Sean, additionally, in the press conference, somehow turned the Australian crowd against Izzy to the point that it looked like it was Sean's home crowd. And what really hammered in the final nail in the coffin for Izzy's true downfall was the embarrassing performance he had against the giant underdog in Sean Strickland. It was brutal. After all the shit talk, after his character was destroyed, so too was he physically destroyed in the octagon, getting dropped and arguably losing every single round. This led to Izzy taking a hiatus, and additionally he got a DUI in there too, so it was not looking good. But there was still hope for Izzy to come back to form. In the beginning of the year, Dricus du Plessis defeats Sean Strickland in a very close match and reignites the rivalry with
Izzy will get another win again. Y'all mark my word. Izzy will get another win again, bro. Maybe not against one of the top contenders, maybe not one of them guys, but he will get one more win. Mark my words.
Izzy. And this is where we would see the true last chance for the Stylebender. But in the build up to this fight, I swear Izzy gave us 0 chances to like him again. He brought back the African beef that you can watch broken down here, but if you have been living under a rock, all of it started with Dricus calling himself the first African champ and the first champion that actually wakes up and breathes African air. He also further explains that all other quote-unquote African champions before him brought the belt back to either America or New Zealand. These statements would really piss off Izzy, which would lead him to that drunken rant and would again be the center of conversation at press conferences. This one in particular. One of the highlights in this press conference starts off with a reporter asking what Izzy thinks about the odds turning him from a slight favorite to a pick'em, and when Izzy mistakenly asks if he's the underdog, Dricus hits him with the "No one said anything about dogs, bro." Already a 10-8 round from Dricus du Plessis. But when things really started to heat up was when someone mentions the true African beef and shit starts hitting the fan. The person who asked the question asks Izzy if he would bring the belt back to Africa, in which Izzy responds yes, he'll not only take it back to Nigeria, but will bring it around the world, which led to a huge opening for a giant Dricus counter as he says, "Are you taking the servants with you when you're going back?" This really struck a chord with Izzy as he lashed out against Dricus, saying he doesn't know his story. He was apparently mean mugging him when Izzy took his shoes off to connect to the earth in a ceremony with fighters to commemorate the native people of Australia, and then explained his story of plight and struggle. And this is where a lot of us, especially me, really lost respect for Israel Adesanya. It's ironic because a couple years ago, I actually respected Izzy for coming out and
Yeah, I don't really agree with that, bro. Everybody got like their own background, their own story. I do remember Izzy saying before up in the past, he came up, middle class, ain't really have to worry about too much. His parents put him up in like what, taekwondo or karate? I think it was taekwondo, but I mean, bro, like you ain't gotta be a good fighter, like, bro, you ain't gotta have a rough upbringing to be a good fighter, bro. Like, it's about what's inside of you, dog. You ain't gotta have a rough upbringing.
saying that he actually grew up pretty privileged and well off. I mean, look at this clip.
My family was well off and everything was just taken care of. I didn't really have to worry about anything.
There's been several articles, videos, interviews where Izzy does recognize he's now from the bottom, which is such a breath of fresh air, because the cool thing for celebrities, especially athletes, to do is talk about how they came from the bottom when they really didn't. But cut to now, literally, Izzy is doing a complete 180 and is trying to change his story all of a sudden. And of course, this would lead to the press conference ending with a bang. Izzy, in a later question, would admit that Dricus du Plessis bothered him with the servant's quote and just lost it. Completely started bawling, talking about he does this for his family, would try to save face by claiming he would still whoop his ass while crying, and then goes, "I'll kill your dreams, bitch," and ironically leaves momentarily like one. It was extremely telling that Dricus slowly giving Izzy the truth got under his skin, and an emotional Izzy would not result in a winning Izzy. I will admit, he did have his moments in the first round and especially in the third, and it really looked competitive, especially with Izzy striking. And maybe, just maybe, it was starting to look like Izzy could pull out a decision, but ultimately he would get caught by a couple bombs from Dricus, which would lead to the takedown and finish. And I was ready to hate the fuck out of Izzy and really rub it in his face, but he really took the loss way better than I thought. They squashed the beef, hugged, kind of kissed here, and Izzy said Dricus would be an inspiration to a generation of African fighters and laughed it off. And with that, that was the end of the Izzy era, and not just Izzy, but this entire generation of fighters. Volk, Kamaru, and Izzy are all 1-3 in their last 4, and certainly done in terms of their chances to get back to the belt.
Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The Volkanovski, Kamaru Usman, Francis Ngannou, Israel Adesanya, bro. That era, it's up there. I ain't gonna say it was the best. It wasn't the best, but you know, it's one to be remembered for sure, though.
I've been a casual fan of the UFC since this generation of fighters, but I really started becoming a hardcore fan during the Izzy Kamaru Volk era, and so this is the first time.
Bro, what I tell y'all, bro? That's bro. It's up there. It's probably not the best, but it is up there, dog. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't never really watched Volkanovski like that. I just seen, like, I ain't never just sat down and watch a whole Volkanovski fight. But bro, Kamaru Usman, Volk, Izzy, bro, they was stepping on niggas. I ain't, especially Volkanovski, bro. Volkanovski was stepping on niggas, dog.
Really consciously lived through the rise, peak,
knockout
and fall
after
of the
knockout.
generation of fighters.
Bloody fights.
And honestly, it's kind of sad seeing the end of this generation, but equally exciting to see what Ilia Topuria, Dricus du Plessis, and I guess technically Bilal Muhammad will do in the future. Even if you hate Izzy, he brought some of the most legendary moments to the UFC. He literally gave us Alex Pereira, fought 2 phenomenal fights with him, and was part of...
Oh man, TJ, bro, I can tell you a dick rider, bro. You dick riding Alex Pereira, fam. Those the only fights you brought up. You ain't gonna bring up Robert Whitaker. You ain't gonna bring up Jarek Cannonier. You ain't gonna bring up Anderson Silva. You ain't bring up none of the fights. Dude brought up Alex Pereira, bro. Them fights was somewhat entertaining, bro. Yes, they was, but come on now, fam.
My opinion, the greatest rivalry in the UFC and sports in general.
Izzy and Alex Pereira, yeah, bro. You meet Ryan, Alex Pereira right now, dog. You meet Ryan him. Let's go over some of the top 3 to top 5 UFC rivalry. He said that one was the best. Conor and Khabib, that one was entertaining. John Jones and DC, that one was somewhat entertaining. And let me think. I would say Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley, but that one wasn't that entertaining. I can't even think of another one. So yeah, we just gonna throw Izzy and Alex Pereira.
He was one part of one of the greatest upsets in UFC history and built Sean
Bro, I
into
don't
a
even
star.
watch
And
UFC
similarly,
like
he
that no
also
more,
helped
y'all.
Dricus
Like,
du Plessis
I
turn
don't
into a
even remember
star.
the last time
Dricus is great and
and
definitely would have had star
UFC
power
fight.
if he just beat Sean, since he does have a very entertaining style. But really, his name and popularity will forever be tied to the beef he had with Israel Adesanya. As much as Izzy may be unlikable or a person you want to be rooting against, he still left a lasting impact on the UFC and one that brought excitement. So even if I may not like Izzy, he really did make the state of the UFC better. So anyways, what do you guys think about the end of Israel Adesanya and this era of fighters? It's kind of sad to see this generation of fighters go, but it's also very exciting to see the new one come.
Now look, TJ, bro, I'm gonna keep watching your fights, dog. I said your fights. I'm gonna keep watching your videos, bro. I ain't gonna lie, like your videos is entertaining, but me and you do not see eye to eye on the whole Alex Pereira thing, bro. Alex Pereira still has a ways to go in his career, dog. He is not stamped yet. He is not stamped. His legacy is not stamped. What he got, like what, 15, 16 victories or something right now? He not stamped, bro. He not stamped, but all right, y'all. That's it for this video. Love you guys. See y'all in the next one. Peace.